Sounders midfielder Victor Rodriguez hasn't started consecutive games since July, but went the full 90 minutes and scored a goal against Colorado on Saturday. His presence is needed by a Sounders team that could be without some top players next week. Sounders midfielder Victor Rodriguez seemed even more reluctant and sheepish than he typically does when asked to discuss his on-field exploits. Likely because the on-field stuff has been highly limited this year. The Spanish import, earning nearly $1.1 million in targeted allocation money, has spent more time off the field than on it after nagging knee and hamstring issues dating back to the end of last season. So, as important as it was personally for Rodriguez to pop an otherwise meaningless late goal last Saturday in a rout of Colorado, he knows he's still got plenty to prove to the team that brought him here a year ago last summer. "I've had a hard season with a lot of injuries," Rodriguez said. "I needed this game." For Rodriguez, who now has 2 goals in 2018, playing the full 90 minutes was likely as important as finding the back of the net. He's gotten on the field in spurts when deemed healthy, but tends to break down over longer stretches and when asked to play consecutive matches. He admits his confidence sank at times after missing the first 3 months of the season with a knee injury that refused to heal and later required arthroscopic surgery to determine whether something additional was involved. Then, not long after he made it back, he was again shelved, this time by a hamstring strain. "I haven't been at 100%, he said. "I know I can do a little bit more. But it's coming little by little, step by step for the Sounders, who snapped a 2-game losing streak against the Rapids. The availability of Rodriguez could determine their 2018 fate. Fans caught a glimpse of what having the team's international attacking trio of Rodriguez, Raul Ruidíaz and Nicolas Lodeiro on the field at the same time can mean. The threesome accounted for all 4 Sounders goals and 7 total points in the match. Another logjam atop the Western Conference, with the top 6 teams within 8 points of each other, means the No. 5 Sounders could need to run the table their final 4 matches against subpar opponents to secure a playoff spot, home playoff game, or even a still possible first-round bye. Rodriguez's presence likely will also take on added meaning next Monday, when the Sounders play host to the Houston Dynamo. In another made by MLS moment, a scheduling quirk within the latest international break could deprive the Sounders of top 2 attackers Lodeiro and Ruidíaz. The game was initially scheduled for this Saturday, but moved to Monday back in May due to fears a Friday concert by Jay-Z and Beyoncé would leave field conditions suboptimal. A Sunday move wasn't possible because the Seahawks play that day. A statement put out by the Sounders on Monday said the move was to ensure a clean field in the best possible conditions for the team. The initial Saturday game date fell outside the FIFA window within which MLS teams must release players to national squads requesting them. But with the game Monday now within the window, the Sounders must negotiate with various national federations to keep their players longer. And the national teams are under no obligation to oblige. It already was dicey as to whether the Sounders would have players return and be game-ready by their October 17 match at Orlando City. But now, the potential of top players missing half the team's remaining 4 matches with the Sounders in a precarious playoff position was certainly not something the team envisioned in May. Lodeiro is expected to play for Uruguay and Ruidíaz for Peru, while Kim Ki-hee could be called in by South Korea, Gustav Svensson by Sweden, Christian Roldan by the U.S. Men's national team and Jordi Delem by Martinique. The potential loss of Lodeiro and Ruidíaz is the biggest concern, given the team's offensive struggles when they aren't in the lineup together. While this scheduling conundrum will undoubtedly increase calls for the Sounders to seek out a home stadium where they are the prime tenant, and owner Adrian Hanauer purchasing a minority stake in the soon-to-be-confirmed Seattle NHL expansion squad at Key Arena makes a potential move to Seattle Center and Memorial Stadium an intriguing possibility. The immediate future requires keeping as many talented attackers on the field as possible. And with Rodriguez, staying on the field remains a question mark. As dazzling as he's been when healthy, his inability to stay that way, having not managed consecutive starts since July, has the team concerned heading into this final stretch. The Sounders know they have the goaltending and defenders to contend for another MLS Cup. But the attack has been vulnerable the past 2 seasons and needs all the variety it can manage for the Sounders to have a shot. And for now, with just 3 points separating the Sounders and number 7 Los Angeles Galaxy, they could need that attack firing just to make the playoffs. It's very important for me, Rodriguez said of reintegrating within the attacking group. I feel confidence with Nico Lodeiro. I can play very easily with him or with Raul Ruidíaz, or with Christian Roldan. Because we are smart players that win when together. The trick is pulling that feed off more than a game or two.